Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Rita. So today I want to talk about a little bit about something that I've been thinking about for a while now. So a few years ago, I remember seeing this video.
All right, let me just read it really quick. Two-Spirit, one more time. Though the label has only been used since the 90s, the concept of the Two-Spirit is something indigenous groups have identified with for centuries. But what does Two-Spirit actually mean, and where does it come from? So what is Two-Spirit? It's an umbrella term that bridges indigenous and Western understandings of gender and sexuality. You may recognize it as the two that sometimes appears on the end of LGBTQ2. There are many definitions and understandings of Two-Spirit, and each is nation-specific. The term was intentionally introduced by Native people with the goal of finding common ground and helping educate about traditional teachings in a contemporary context. The Two-Spirit Society of Denver offers the following definition. Two-Spirit refers to another gender role believed to be common among most, if not all, First Peoples of Turtle Island, North America. One that had a proper and accepted place within Native societies. This acceptance was rooted in the spiritual teachings that say all life is sacred.
And when I saw this video, I played it a couple times, and it hit me all of a sudden that these people in this video likely really believe that they are someone else. They really believe this. So, it really got me thinking. And the one thing that popped in my head was Mark 5. Now, if you're not familiar with Mark 5, this is the incident in which a man in the cave, Jesus, cast out demons from a man in a cave. Okay. And I'm just going to read it to you. Then they came, Jesus and the disciples, to the other side of the sea, to the region of the Gerasenes. As soon as he got out of the boat, a man with an unclean spirit came out of the tombs and met him. He lived in the tombs. No one was able to restrain him anymore, even with chains, because he often had been bound with shackles and chains, but had snapped off the chains and smashed the shackles. No one was strong enough to subdue him. And always, night and day, he was crying out among the tombs and in the mountains and cutting himself with stones. Now, if you keep going a little bit further down, it says in verse 9, "What is your name?" Jesus asked the man. "My name is Legion," he answered him, "because we are many." And he kept begging him not to send them out of the region. So I think that we're not looking at this through the right lenses. When these people identify as rainbows and lollipops and unicorns and whatever it is that they're making up.
Hello, I am Doll. I am one of our object alters. When I front, I find it very difficult to remember things that the body requires, such as how to move, how to blink, how to breathe, and how to speak. For the purpose of filming this video, I have Meredith co-conscious with me, so that I will not mess up. However, this is the third take. The first two, I forgot to breathe and or speak.
I believe that this is demonic. Like, this is a spiritual problem. Just like in Mark 5, when Jesus asked this man what his name was, he didn't say what his name was. He didn't even say, I'm a man or I live. Right away, the demon spoke and said, "I am Legion." So that was his name. This is not simply about him feeling like whatever and like, oh, I think I'm going to be a unicorn this day. No, these entities had completely taken over this man and were now stepping forward to identify themselves as something other than what God created this man to be. Okay, that's what we need to realize. This man was self-mutilating. Okay, he was self-mutilating. He was calling himself something that God did not create him to be, something that he was not. But he was gone at this point. The demons had taken over, and now this man was self-identifying. He was mutilating himself and self-identifying himself as Legion. So the reason I bring all this up is because I just wonder, are we listening? Are we paying attention? These people dyeing their hair pink, doing all sorts of weird, mutilating themselves. We tend to see this as a political thing. I think a lot of people, especially if you're not a Christian, then this may, be your thing. You look at this as a political issue and you just think, oh, these people are nuts. They're so far in the left. No, they're so far demonically possessed. These people also believe a lot of the theories that the left preach, and not just the left. The left just happens to uphold a lot of these things about like self-worship and earth worship and being one with the universe. And all these things are very new age, mystical kind of religions, meditation and chakras and all of this stuff. This kind of thing. This is basically a portal inviting in all sorts of nasty spirits. And I know for some of you who may not be Christians, you probably checked out a long time ago, but I am. And I do believe in the spiritual realm. And no, I'm not like mystical in that way, but I believe the Bible. And I believe Mark 5 that says that this man was full of spirits, unclean spirits, that Jesus had to tell to leave this man. These were unclean spirits that were causing this man to, unbeknownst to him, to call himself something other than who he was, what he was. He was not even present. So I think when we see these people, we need to remind ourselves, especially as Christians, we need to remind ourselves that this is not about left and right. This is so far beyond the scope of politics at this point. It's so far beyond the scope of politics. This is a spiritual battle, and we are seeing it in our world. I mean, Facebook and a whole bunch of other platforms now are allowing people to select, even on your birth certificate, you're being allowed to change your gender. What this is a direct attack against God. This what this is. See beyond the political scope. This is all a direct attack against God. The values that you stand for when you talk about, marriages between a man and woman, or no, you can't change your gender or your sex. You can't change your sex that you were given at birth. These are all things that the Bible says God created you in his image. He created you male, and he created us male and female to be married, to procreate. These are all things that our society deems as wrong. So when we see people talking about their other pronouns, what we need to understand is these people who firmly believe this, there is, I would say there is a demonic spirit working inside of them that they are probably not conscious of, because they have been dabbling in all of these other things with all of this mysticism that has opened them up for the floodgates of all sorts of unclean things to basically take up residence in their soul. So that's how we need to see this. So trying to approach these people on the streets or whatever, and they're all wild-eyed, and trying to approach this from a secular position and say, hey, don't you know that Trump this or Biden that, or the world government and all that stuff? Don't get me wrong, the government stuff is important, but it really has no bearing on these people. These people, to be honest, they may not even be voting. We may see them out there with their sandwich boards and all that and their blue hair, but a lot of these people may not even be voting, because it's not about that. That's what we need to understand. This is a cultural revolution. This is a spiritual revolution. These people are involved in some sort of unclean, wicked awakening, having nothing to do with politics. Right? The root of it is wickedness. The root of it is not political. It's just taking on that shape. But the root of it is an unclean thing that is basically spreading throughout the society. This thing about all the gender confusion and all this is all rooted in hatred for God and the things of God. So it should come as no surprise to us that people self-identify as something other than how they were created, because this is a demonic spirit. And that's kind of just what I wanted to draw attention to, just so we don't see all of these people and right away write them off as leftists, because it's beyond that. That's just a symptom. The way they lean politically. Of course they're going to lean that way politically because they are engulfed in all sorts of uncleanness. And I'm not saying that people that believe other, on the right or wherever politically, like I said, I'm not saying that that's not happening on the right too, because there are some strange things happening over, demonic things happening everywhere. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not political that we're seeing. It is a spiritual thing that we're seeing. And I think that if we are Christians, we should understand that the only thing that we really have to offer these people is the gospel of Christ, that they can be saved, right? That they can be delivered from these things, that they can be delivered from demonic possession, that they can be delivered from all the things that they're feeling are the confusion and everything, right? That's what we have to offer them. What we don't have to offer them is some secular argument about politics, because these people, it's way beyond that. It's way beyond that. Satan is loving that we are looking at these people and writing them off as some kind of political enemy. He is loving that, because then he can keep them bound up in where they are, and possessed, and them being confused and really deep down inside screaming for help, like this man was doing night and day, this man in Mark 5, because that's what this is, a cry for help. They don't know it, but that's what it is. So that's all I wanted to say. It was just, it's just something I've been thinking about for a while. And I'm like, I just want to share this. And I just wonder if any of you have thought of this too, when you see these people pronouncing all sorts of weird pronouns, and like, what do you think about this? What are you guys' thoughts on this? Leave your comments below and let me know what you're thinking. And I hope you all are having a fantastic week. Have a wonderful day. And until next time, ciao.